afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Google's view on how digital assistants have raised consumer expectations for the home improvement industry. My name is Michelle Letman, and I have my co-host, Jenny Silvers, next to me. I'm also joined by our webinar ninja, Steve Eastlack, who is ready and excited to help answer your questions. Speaking of those questions, you can use the question box on the right-hand side of your screen and let us know where you're joining us from today. We are based out of Washington, D.C., and Patrick, I believe, is out in California. If you're interested in learning more about Surefire Local and the Surefire Local Marketing Cloud, you can go to surefirelocal.com or give us a quick search on Google.
And speaking of Google, we're able to have someone from Google here today because we are a Google Premier Partner.
As you may have read, over 55% of U.S. households will have a voice assistant smart speaker by 2022.
In fact, did you know that 11 million of these devices were sold just this past holiday season?
Today, we are going to be adding another one to that 11 million by giving away a Google Home Mini speaker to one lucky winner. If you don't win, though, you don't have to go home empty-handed today. Everyone here is eligible to get a Google ebook and a Chromecast, but I will get to that later on in the presentation. We're excited to have Google's Patrick Tam join us today, Strategic Partner Manager in SEM and Platform Partnerships. Patrick has info specific to the home improvement industry about what this will mean for your business when it comes to voice assistant speakers. So Patrick, thank you for joining us today, and take it away.
Thanks, Michelle. And hi, everyone. It's a huge honor to be joining you guys today and to teaming up with the Surefire team to share some insights into what we're seeing in the marketplace. And specifically, what we're going to be talking today is about marketing in the age of assistance. Now, it's hard to believe, but the smartphone is already 10 years old. You can't really overstate the impact mobile has had on our lives and on our industry. And this disruption is by no means over. Mobile is showing no signs of fatigue, but there's also something else going on right now. The beginning of a new and powerful shift. So to bring it to life, let me tell you a story. I recently went on a family vacation to Santa Barbara, which is this beautiful beach town down in Southern California. And we planned for a Saturday to be our beach day. But as was our luck, right around noon during a sunny brunch, we heard a crack of thunder off in the distance. And just a few minutes later, the sky turned gray. And not 1 minute later, began absolutely dumping rain on us. So ordinarily, we would have sadly accepted the beach day was a wash and spent the rest of the day inside. But thanks to Google Assistant, we could be a little more stubborn about keeping our plans. So I turned on my phone, asked the assistant if we would still need umbrellas in a few hours. It told us no, and that it would clear up by the afternoon. But now we needed something to keep us busy while we waited out the rain. So I asked the assistant again for a good wine bar. And sure enough, it returned a list of the best wine bars near our location that were open right now. So needless to say, finally the rain subsided. We went to the closest wine bar, bought a bottle, and by the time the wine put us all back in our happy place, we were ready to go and get out to the beach. So I asked the assistant for the nearest dog-friendly beach, and our day was saved, and everyone was happy. So I'm sure you can think of countless examples like this from your lives. Times when technology has enabled experiences that were intuitive and undeniably helpful. Times when technology has enabled experiences that were fast and efficient and really welcome in your life. That's what I mean when I say we've entered the age of assistance. I'm not talking about a far-off future either. I'm talking about something happening now. And we didn't arrive here by accident. The age is an extension and result of what we've already been seeing for several years now. So to illustrate what this shift has looked like, let's take a look at the world that we directly work in, to look at search behavior in a couple of industries. So if we look at HVAC, overall, search queries on Google have grown over 21% year on year. And if you break that down by device, the overwhelming majority of those queries are coming from mobile, and that gap is expanding. If we look at year-on-year growth on queries broken down by device, you can see that the majority of the growth is coming from mobile, which means that customers are increasingly relying on making those decisions while simply just browsing on their mobile device. And the story holds true if we jump into the roofing industry. 14% year-on-year growth overall for search queries related to roofing services, and half of those are coming from mobile. And if you look closely at this graph, you'll see a very recent shift right around Q2, you'll see that blue line finally overtaking the yellow line, which indicates the inflection point in which mobile surpassed desktop for the majority share of user queries on roofing services on their mobile devices. So same story, if we break this down by year-on-year growth, you can see the huge majority of people are increasingly coming from mobile for roofing services. So a few years ago, we introduced the concept of micro moments. We illustrated how consumer behavior had changed dramatically, and in turn, the whole consumer decision journey had changed dramatically as well. Now that people could quickly get answers in any moment they wanted to know, go, do, and buy. Now all of this is only accelerating. Today, more and more aspects of our lives are powered by mobile and digital. We love our devices, of course, but what we really love is the power our devices, the power to get exactly what we want instantly and effortlessly, to have our needs not just met, but anticipated. So looking forward, we can expect this level of empowerment to only grow as technology gets better and our expectations for getting assistance growing with it. Think about voice assist, as I mentioned earlier. Still early days, but it's a great example of how technology is increasingly catering to us as unique individuals. And what's more personal than our unique voices and serving us seamlessly in daily life? Think about this. Almost 70% of requests to the Google Assistant are expressed in natural language, not the typical keywords that people type in a web search. So we're dealing with consumers who are more empowered in their digital experiences than ever before. They can navigate life from the palm of their hands, make decisions on the fly, and get more done. They're more confident and a capable set of consumers than we've ever experienced. These are different customers than even just a few years ago. The very nature of how they behave and what they expect has changed. They're actively curious, they're demanding, and they're very impatient, way more than ever before. So let's start with curiosity. Let's face it, we've all become a bit research obsessed with such easy access to information because we can know everything, we want to know everything. And every decision we make has got to be an informed one. To give you an example, searches for reviews on mobile have increased by more than 35% over the past 2 years. Going even further than that, we're not even just interested in simple star ratings, for instance. In the past 2 years, videos with reviews in the title had more than 50,000 years worth of watch time just on mobile. So we want to know not just a typical rating for a service or a product, but we want to know exactly what we're going to be in store for, exactly how it works. In the past 2 years, mobile searches related to buying a home have doubled, and mobile searches related to weddings have tripled. These are massive, life-changing decisions being made on our phones, of all things. Searching for ideas on mobile have grown by over 55% over the past 2 years. For example, bathroom remodel ideas or Valentine's Day ideas for him. These are all huge shifts for people looking to be more creative, more educated on their mobile devices. People are more curious about even small, seemingly mundane things. In the past few years, we've seen mobile searches for shower curtains, for instance, more than double. Mobile searches for best travel pillow have grown more than 300%. And there's something big happening here. It used to be that marketers define high and low consideration categories. That is to say, cars and appliances, big decisions were high consideration. Deodorant and men's underwear were low consideration. But now the customer gets to dictate the level of consideration for him or herself. Every product or service can be high consideration, raising both the opportunity and the stakes for businesses across every category. What we're seeing is that consumers are being more deliberate about their purchasing decisions, more thoughtful. But because there's so much information available and easily accessible on our mobile devices, they're making decisions more quickly as well. This is where you as business owners can have a say in what information a potential customer sees about your business when they search for your industry, and in turn, making them more likely to buy or hire your products or services. Today's consumers are also very demanding. They expect technology and businesses to know what would be useful for them at this very moment, to cater to them personally. Not only that, they expect those tailored experiences without having to reintroduce themselves each time or to spell out their requests. That's way too much work. So here's a great example. More and more, people aren't even bothering to type near me when doing a local search. When I type Italian food, you should just know whether I'm at the mall looking for a restaurant or at home expecting delivery. I shouldn't have to specify what I need, let alone my zip code, right? Consumers expect Google to have as much information as possible about their interests, which in turn means they expect a lot out of the businesses that are listed on Google. When they're looking for a local service company to speak to, or to a restaurant to dine at right this instant, the businesses who are most diligent about having their info updated across all channels will be in prime position to win that sale. Take, for instance, search interest for Open Now has more than tripled since 2015. So you have to ask yourself, do I have all my business information, my open hours, my phone number, my website all listed properly on Google? More than 85% increase in mobile searches for where to buy. People know it's possible that their phone can locate the product near them, even tell them where it's in stock. And when it's possible, they expect it. Like I said, now we're as demanding as ever. And with that, I'll pass it back to Michelle.
Great. Thank you, Patrick. So we want to take a quick water break here, and we want to ask if you would like to get an expert analysis of how your business appears on Google and if Adwords is right for you, and when you would like to join a Surefire team member for a one-on-one call on either Tuesday, January 30th or February 1st of next week. If either of those days do not work for you, you can just select please email me and we will get in touch with you and schedule a time that works best for you. So take a second here and let us know. Also, feel free to put in any questions into the chat box. We are planning on doing a small Q&A at the end, and we would love to hear any questions that you guys have. All right, the poll is closed, and Patrick, you can take it away again.
All right, thanks, Michelle. So back to what we were talking about. We just finished up demanding and curious. And lastly, we as consumers have become impatient too. Yes, today's consumers are willing to invest their time researching little things like umbrellas and shower curtains. But in each micro moment, when they're ready to know, go, do, and buy, they want to act now and get now. So the experience better be fast and it better be frictionless, especially on mobile. For instance, mobile searches related to same-day shipping are growing at 120% since 2015. Travel searches for today and tonight are up 150%. Searches for stores and restaurants open now at triple. This need for speed has vast implications for business, well beyond marketing. It means everything from offering immediate inventory availability and shipping, speeding up your customer service, to making things a lot easier to find, research, compare, and buy. So they're more curious, demanding, and impatient. We see these qualities in ourselves and everyone around us, and this empowerment will only deepen. And what comes with heightened empowerment? Heightened expectations for every single experience people have with the business. Consumers expect to be assisted everywhere. So for us as marketers, the implication is clear. Every company has to reorient around these customers to be more assistive across the entire experience. And that's why we believe for business owners like yourselves, assistance is the new battleground for growth. The ability to use data to predict consumer needs will define a business's ability to grow. Every industry and every business must build a strategy driven by experience and by assistance as well. Of course, a few years ago when we saw micro-moment behavior emerging, we also quickly started understanding the implications resulting from these mobile behaviors. The truth is that multiple challenges rose to the forefront. There was an explosion of data to make sense of. There was tons of new complexity in the consumer journey with all the different devices that we're interfacing with and coming across businesses with. Business owners like yourselves had to really think through things like, is my marketing strategy set up to deliver on all of these different moments? Are we present at every touch point that a customer may come across our business? And to be honest, the technology wasn't really there yet to fully deliver on the promise at hand. But we've turned a pretty big corner since. Incredible opportunities are breaking through that are enabling us to keep up with constantly changing consumer behavior better than ever. We can actually cope with the explosion of data and touch points due to things like automation and machine learning. We can have much more confidence in our decisions about where to spend our next marketing dollars. And ultimately, we can have a much deeper understanding of the people that we're trying to assist, our customers. This is hugely exciting because the most important requirement for truly assisting our customers is a deeper, more holistic understanding of them. An understanding that enables you to cater to their intent and context in every moment and stay ahead of them and anticipate what they need before they even know they need it. This is where we can help. People have always come to Google with intent, expecting assistance. Now, people expect that assistance everywhere. We see these moments happening across all our properties, 7 of which have over 1 billion users each. This gives us a lot of data and insights about today's consumers. We know who they are as they travel across properties and devices, what they want and care about, and what they'll find most useful at any given moment. That means what always made search engines great, the ability to address an individual's needs super quickly, is both more important and more powerful than ever. We can help you make sense of all these different intent signals and incorporate this knowledge into your marketing strategy so that you can deliver those fast, personal, helpful messages anywhere the customer goes. And over the next few minutes, I'm going to share how you can use some of these proven strategies to make your marketing as assistive as possible for your customers. You must be able to make sense of intent, identity, and context to engage your most valuable customers in the most valuable ways across surfaces and moments of the journey. That's a lot to consider, right? Well, here's how to think about it. There are 3 things that must frame your entire assistance marketing strategy. Show up, wise up, speed up. Let's dive into each of these. First, you have to show up. Consumers now expect to be assisted everywhere. If your company isn't there, your competitor will be. But in order to be in the right moments, you have to be able to value those moments appropriately. So the real commitment you have to make is twofold. You have to measure and understand the impact of all your media touch points across the consumer journey, and then be there with useful information when the consumer wants it. So I'll give you a few examples of how other companies have succeeded in these strategies. For example, Allstate. They've always assumed that they would get the best ROI from their digital efforts by focusing on new customers. But this assumption was wrong. They learned that to drive long-term growth, they have to nurture their current customers as well. That's not to say new customers aren't important. Acquisition is always going to be a key goal of digital marketing, but they realize that they should be using digital to boost customer lifetime value at the same time. So what they did was they used Google surveys to learn more about their customer. What they found was that 70% of their customers use digital to research their next policy or insurance, but only 1 in 5 of those 70% actually knew that Allstate offered those same products that they were searching for. And 1 in 3 weren't aware of savings that they could get through bundling their policy. Allstate is always seen cross-selling as an agent's job, but they realize that new technology can make it possible to be really personalized online in a way that you can't do offline. And in some cases, even more than can be offline. In the wake of these findings, they looked at their customer base, segmented them into over 40 groups to better understand their specific needs. So they worked with us at Google to get insights about each of those groups, such as mobile usage and shopping behavior that help them inform their audience targeting and messaging for their marketing campaign. Then they used this great Google Adwords feature called Customer Match, where they're able to leverage that customer segmentation data and meet each customer group with personalized advertising. A customer who has auto and home insurance, for instance, and is searching for life insurance would get a tailored message directing her to a landing page describing the benefits of bundling her policy. Allstate then follows up with additional messaging later to help her locate her closest agent to learn more. So the results were promising when they moved to the strategy. They learned that cross-selling to current customers through Google Search and YouTube is 4 times more cost-effective in generating sales than trying to acquire new ones. Next up with Home Depot. Home Depot really learned the results of catering their marketing strategy to be hyper-local when it used location extensions for display ads to reach home and garden enthusiasts on mobile devices. The brand reached consumers in their intent-rich moments, like when they're looking for outdoor garden products and brought them into their stores. Even with the growth of e-commerce, most of Home Depot's customers still prefer to come into local stores, with 94% of the sales taking place in store. So they decided to complement their local search strategy with Google's new mobile location extensions or mobile display ads to bring those customers into the store. Location extensions for display are banner ads that show local store information like address and phone number and directions, all generated dynamically. Home Depot customized the ads to reach consumers who are within 15 miles of their store, and not just any consumer. The Home Depot team worked with Google to combine Google's audience data along with its local targeting data to show these ads only to local do-it-yourselfers and home decor enthusiasts. The ads ran for 4 weeks in the areas around Home Depot's highest volume stores, and consumers saw dynamically generated ads designed just for them with really colorful visuals, directions, and details about their nearby Home Depot. And they used sales data to measure the effectiveness of the marketing. By the end of the 4-week test period, the company was seeing 8 times the in-store ROI from their mobile display ads. And by the way, all of these ad products that we're going over and audience targeting solutions are available for use by any business. And I recommend, if you'd like to learn more, speak with our partners at Surefire. So let's shift gears and talk about wising up. Today's demanding consumers respond to businesses that understand their needs, tailor messages, and experiences to those needs. Ultimately, this means that businesses have to optimize their marketing for both relevance to the consumer and lifetime value for the company. This requires revisiting your data and audience strategy to ensure you're building from a base of intent. As marketers, we've always chased after consumer intent. We've always chased after it. For example, a search query for "I want to redo my roof." Well, we've settled for rough approximations like demographics. In the age of assistance, we can no longer market to average consumers. We need to market to changing, dynamic, empowered consumers. We need to understand deeply who they are. Google's diverse properties represent a huge stockpile of data that you can leverage to create far better experiences for your customers and deliver far greater value for your company. So to give you an example, Grainger is a supplier of maintenance, repair, and operating products, and they sell more than 1 million individual products, and new items hit the shelves daily. So the company uses Adwords today to advertise their most popular products, but it was a challenge finding a way to manage keyword lists and ads for this massive catalog. So because of this, they turned to Adwords Dynamic Search Ads, or DSA. It makes keyword management a lot easier because there are no keywords to maintain. So DSA uses Google's organic website crawling ability to connect users to your site, and it dynamically creates and shows ads for pages on your website with customized headlines. So for Grainger, what this meant is that ads would always reflect the company's current products and inventory levels without any need to manage keywords. But here's the best part. When you combine DSA with our audience targeting, it gets incredibly powerful. So DSA identifies traffic that might be interested in your site. Then the audience targeting qualifies that traffic so you're more competitive. Grainger also used remarketing lists for search ads to amplify the effect of DSA. So remarketing allowed Grainger to show relevant ads on Google.com only to customers who had previously made a purchase on Grainger's site. Grainger knew these shoppers were more likely to convert again later, found that remarketing was extremely helpful in keeping the Grainger brand top of mind. So all of these different products combined, dynamic search ads, remarketing, and audience targeting have all led to huge gains in return on ad spend, on conversions, and click-through rate, all increased by over 1,000% by combining all of these really simple solutions that are available to every one of us. Next up is a magazine in Brazil. So they're a leading Brazilian retailer called Magazine Luiza, and they had a simple goal to reach more customers and leverage their limited marketing resources more efficiently. I think that's something that we can all relate to. Their insight was that they recognized that if they knew of customers' future value, they could be flexible in the investments they made. They could spend more for customers that they believe would be more valuable over the lifetime of that relationship. So they look at their CRM data to look at historical lifetime value for their customers, and then use that data with Google AdWords to create audiences and similar audiences based on those segments. In terms of their objective to reach more customers and to be smarter with their resources, this customer value strategy enabled them to structure their bids and their investments to match that predicted value of the customers that they reach. So they knew what audience that they should spend more to win, and they had confidence to make adjustments to hit their goals. And as a result, they drove an 11% increase in conversion rate and a 17% increase in return on ad spend. Lastly, Sonos is obviously a huge speaker company, and they use Google's audience targeting to reach people searching for speakers and also those who are going through major life events like moving, getting married, or graduating college. Then they ran a YouTube campaign highlighting how listening to music at home with Sonos is better than with Bluetooth. As a result, after running the campaign, they saw a 37% lift in purchase intent, which is pretty phenomenal. Now, on to the last area. Speed is table stakes for consumers, and the bar for speed continues to rise. We need to get better at telling shorter, faster stories, at making the right impression in a matter of seconds, and being relentless about removing friction from the purchase journey. And this isn't just about ads either. It's about rethinking all of your customer experiences, especially the ones happening on mobile. The low-hanging fruit here is the speed of your mobile site. It's the front door to your business, essentially. So it shouldn't take a long time to walk in. So over 50% of mobile site visits are abandoned if it takes longer than 3 seconds to load. Yet most of us are falling short. In fact, incredibly short. In the US, the average mobile page takes 10 seconds to just appear and a full 24 seconds to be fully loaded. That's astounding. So the most important thing you can do to improve your mobile experience is make it fast, because we all know consumers are not going to wait around. So take a moment after this webinar to load your company's website and ask yourself if it stacks up to what we just learned. In a recent Google poll of consumers, almost half said their top frustration when browsing the mobile web was waiting for slow pages to load. The competition to capture attention of mobile users is even more intense due to slow loading mobile websites and lower visitor patience. The competition to capture attention of mobile users is even more intense due to these factors. 60% of mobile users expect mobile websites to load within 3 seconds. On average, 3 in 4 will abandon if it takes longer than 5 seconds. It's important to understand that page speed means money, plain and simple. The average impact of a 1 second delay means a 7% reduction in conversions. So for an e-commerce site that makes $100,000 per day, a 1 second delay means $2.5 million in lost revenues every year. A 1 second delay in page load time means 11% fewer page views, 16% in customer satisfaction, and again, a 7% loss in conversions. That's after 1 second of delay. So the numbers don't lie. Here's what happens when you speed up your site. Mozilla increased their page speed by just 2 seconds, and they increased the downloads for Firefox by 15%, which equates to 10 million more downloads per year. And Walmart saw a 2% increase in conversion rates for every 1 second that they improved their page load times, which is astounding. Every little bit counts. Another example, 5 years ago, it took more than 25 steps to place an online order with Domino's. Domino's has since brought the number of steps down from 25 to 5 or less. Today, consumers can place an order with just a few clicks on their mobile website or app, or they can rattle off a voice order on their home assistant. They can even send a pizza emoji over social media or through the TV. There are now over 15 ways to order Domino's pizza without any human contact. So as a result of these efforts, Domino's now receives more than 60% of the orders online, and half of that 60% comes through mobile, which is pretty amazing. Now, think about your website. You don't have to be a Domino's to make these types of decisions, and consider how easy or difficult it is for a customer to find what they need, or to get in contact with you, or to submit information for a quote. Think about how you can make that as quick and frictionless as possible. Now, we've talked about so much today, And there's so many different elements these days that go into digital advertising that it's really unrealistic to think that that a small business owner can stay up to speed on all of these changes and opportunities, let alone execute successfully. Every business owner has to juggle 4 different problems when making any decision about their business. Do you have the time to learn and actively manage a marketing campaign to keep up with the rapidly changing landscape? Do you have the desire to focus on this, or would you prefer to fully focus on managing your business? Do you have the knowledge and expertise to manage a marketing strategy across multiple channels and platforms? And lastly, do you have the resources on hand, a marketing team that can handle PPC and websites and social and SEO and business listings? If you answered no to any of those questions, you're not alone. And that's why Google partners with dedicated marketing experts like Surefire. When you work with Surefire, you're working with a certified Google partner. They're certified to work with our products and even certified to work with individual products like search, display, and video. They're continually trained by our team at Google so that they're on the bleeding edge in terms of product knowledge and how to best extract the most performance out of marketing campaigns on Adwords. We hold them to continual quality standards for customer service and product performance as a standard for keeping their status as a Google Premier Partner. And lastly, their integration with our latest technologies like similar audience research to find new customers who look like your current ones. So with that, I'll pass it back over to Michelle, and I'll let her take the mic.
Okay, thank you so much, Patrick. If we can go to the next slide. Yeah. So before we announce the Google Home Mini winner, I actually want to offer everyone one more opportunity to continue today's conversation. Patrick discussed a ton of great trends and stats that business owners should be thinking about. And I know I learned a lot today. I hope you all did too. When you join a Surefire team member for a call, you'll get an expert analysis on how your business appears on Google and whether Google AdWords aligns with your goals for this year. Plus, you'll get some tips on ways you can make your own marketing work harder. We're scheduling times for Tuesday, January 30th and Thursday, February 1st of next week. But if these days aren't ideal for you, please let us know and we'll follow up with you through email. So Patrick, we did have a couple questions come in. And one of these questions is from our attendee, Robert. Question is, if we already have AdWords, how do we ensure our information is available to consumers performing a voice?
So can you repeat the question for me one time, Michelle?
Yeah, of course. The question is, if we already are using AdWords, how do we ensure that our information is available to consumers performing a voice search?
That's a great question. It's about ensuring that your business listing information is as updated as possible on, for instance, Google My Business. That's where a lot of the kind of organic searches are going to be pulling from. Let's say if a customer is searching for you and they're asking for local roofing services in their area, we're going to be pulling from that Google My Business listing. So ensure all your information is up to date on that front.
Okay, thanks, Patrick. Lastly, I wanted to announce our Google Home Mini winner. Today's lucky recipient of the Google Home is Amanda Milliron, and I'm sorry if I'm saying your last name wrong. Congratulations, Amanda. Please email marketing@surefirelocal.com with your full mailing address, and we'll ship that right out. So I wanted to give another huge thanks to Patrick and to all of you for taking the time out of your day to join us. We hope you learned something new and look forward to seeing you on more upcoming webinars. If you happen to miss out on the polls, I'm going to be extending them, and you'll have a chance to hear more about how Surefire Local can help your business by emailing marketing@surefirelocal.com or visiting our website, surefirelocal.com. Please take a minute to fill out the survey at the end and let us know how we did today and what topics you'd like to hear about in the future. We love checking out the topics you suggest when we plan our next webinar schedule, so keep that in mind. Thank you, and have a great afternoon.